deemed the first wind energy company of San Antonio. We're also the first Hispanic-owned wind energy company in the U.S. Those are, some amazing feats in and of itself, and we're able to share that with our community. But even being able to give back and show our local community and kids that are coming up and about to graduate, like, hey, you can come from nothing and you can still make something of yourself. Just you got to believe, you got to press, you got to work hard, and sometimes dreams can happen.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm here today with Aaron Aguirre. He's the Creative and Marketing Director at Rangel Renewables. Aaron, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, excited to have you. So Aaron, why don't you start and tell me a little bit about yourself?
Oh, absolutely. Well, my name's Aaron Aguirre. I'm the Creative and Marketing Director for both Rangel Renewables and King Heavy Lift, which is another Rangel company that we just recently started. So I've been in this role for going on about 3.5 years now. So originally when I started with Rangel Renewables, it was just getting kicked off. So I was actually the second hire for Rangel Renewables, and we were doing residential solar and sales in San Antonio, Texas, LED light retrofits as well. And then whenever we actually got into the wind industry and got our first start at it, it was also my big break personally, because I got to move from sales into my role now just by being a creative person. So I was taking videos and pictures with my phone all the time, just whenever we're doing different projects, and editing them on my phone. And then our CEO, Josh, he gave me the opportunity, saw the potential that I had, and said, hey, I want to give you a shot in this role. I'm going to give you the tools, just research it, tell me what you need, and you can start handling the social, the website, marketing, graphic content. So I basically went to YouTube University and graduated for a real quick School of Hard Knocks, and then still learning every day though. So it's definitely my passion now, and I believe my calling to be in this role.
That's fantastic. That's so interesting. And it sounds like a really amazing journey with Rangel to get to where you are now in your position. So you mentioned before kind of starting with residential, but now you do more wind. Talk to me more about, Rangel and what you do.
Sure, absolutely. So Rangel Renewables is a turnkey wind installation, maintenance, and heavy lift services company. So with in the wind industry, basically we construct the turbines. So we don't manufacture them, but we do build them. So a lot of times we work with manufacturers and owners. They're the ones that call us because they make the product, but they don't necessarily do the full build and construction. So that's where our company comes in. So we actually physically go out there. It's basically just on new construction, starts as slab of concrete, and we build the turbine step by step all the way up, just like a giant Lego piece. But we also do some repower work, which is flipping over old turbines with new parts, and then maintenance as well on existing turbines.
Wow, that's fascinating. So, talking about, you said you were the second employee, so it sounds like, you've seen a lot of growth with Rangel Renewables. Talk to me kind of what that looked like and what it was like being a part of that.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Well, it's been fun and fantastic and stressful all together to watch the growth of the company, and I'm happy to be a part of it for sure. But basically, starting off from where we were at when we initially got our shot in wind, we started off with, I believe it was 3 technicians on our first wind project. The next shot that we got, we were able to go out there with 10, and then in the matter of, I believe it was a 3-month span, we actually went from 10 individuals to 110.
Wow.
So we scaled really quickly at that particular site that we were at. And it was also during the midst of COVID, which is a blessing because, while a lot of other companies were struggling, we were deemed to be because we're part of the infrastructure and energy essential workers, so we were able to still operate and actually grow during that time.
Wow.
And so it was a lot of growing pains, like I said, but a lot of lessons learned. And man, we just were blessed to have real experts in the field that knew what they were doing.
Mhm.
And that's kind of what gave us our shot and has continued to sustain us, is our amazing workforce and technicians that know what they're doing. And, they're rock stars out there in the field.
That's great. Do you think, those great rock star technicians are one of the reasons, why Rangel Renewables is able to stand out from its competition is one of the factors? Like what would you say some other factors are?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, with Rangel Renewables, we're really big into, our culture and our mission. Our mission is to leave a legacy and be a blessing to others. And that starts at the top and goes all the way down, because we, really want to invest in our employees, invest in our technicians, everybody that steps through the door. We don't want them just to be, someone that punches in and punches out. We want them to feel like family. So we do a lot of functions with our technicians, whether it's barbecuing, doing a crawfish boil, playing games, whatever the case is, just to create that team unity. And then, also we celebrate our technicians and their accomplishments. So if they're able to go, buy a house or buy a new car, we're happy that we were able to be a part of that also. And that's ultimately what we want to see is the growth. A lot of times it stays within our organization. Sometimes it bleeds out as well. And we're proud when that happens. Actually, our safety director, he just got a big shot, and he just left. This was his last week, but he's going to go kick off the offshore safety division here in the U.S. and develop that program and be the first one out there doing safety. So, I mean, to see him and his growth, where he's been with us, he was with us for 7 months, getting his start in wind energy, and now he's going to start his own program, which is amazing. So, we're happy to do that as well, and be a hub for somebody that can grow in their career.
Wow, that's really fantastic. So, that I think that's a really great story of the kind of the family and, like you said, the culture that Rangel Renewable creates. And I imagine too, you kind of extend that same family approach to your clients as well. So, talking about your clients, do you have, is there a typical client profile, whether it be, size or anything like that, that you tend to see working with Rangel?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely go after, it's a business to business, so we don't, deal directly with consumers, but we do deal a lot with the manufacturers and owners, as I said. So it's awesome to see that we're able to work with some massive international companies. So some big ones that we work with are Vestas, Siemens Gamesa, GE. We actually just recently landed a 3-year contract with Vestas, which is the world's largest turbine manufacturer. So we're really blessed to be in this position and be able to work with those key individuals and learn from them, wean from them as well. It's a growing process with both of us. And, with any company that we work for, it's not just, hey, bring us in and we'll show you what we got. It's how can we do this together and incorporate that union and that family operation for sure.
Yeah, totally. So being B2B, what would you say the biggest challenge your customers have before they start working with Rangel Renewables? Is it just access to the materials? Like, walk me through that.
Sure. Well, their normally biggest challenge is just they want somebody that's a turnkey operation. So that's what we aim to provide, is somebody that can come in. We bring the experts, we bring the equipment, we bring the trucks, we bring the heavy equipment, we bring the cranes, and we can do it all, one-stop shop. So that's normally what they're wanting, as opposed to kind of piecemealing it between 3 or 4 different companies. But we have been, getting our start in wind too. We were on the other side of it, being subcontracted out previously, and normally the concerns there were safety concerns or subpar performances from other companies where, oh man, it's just the production's not getting done and it's not getting done right. And because we had those rock star technicians, as I mentioned before, they came in and were like, man, these guys are doing it in 3 times faster than the current company that's out here. Like, let's give these guys a shot. And our reputation precedes us in that aspect as well. A lot of people have heard good things and continue to give us opportunities.
That's fantastic. That's great. And, I love the idea of being a turnkey solution. I imagine that takes such a lift off of your clients, knowing that you provide, like you said, the cranes, the experts, you take care of everything. I imagine that's a huge lift off of their plate.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're always happy, like I said, to see the safety, quality, and production. Those are our three mainstays, and they, get to see that in real world examples. And then safety being the biggest thing for our company is, ultimately we want to see everybody go home to their families at the end of the day. So we have measures in place to support that safety culture as well. We have what's called the Safety Good Catch program. So our technicians that are out there in the field, they're basically looking for things that are wrong because they want to resolve problems before they turn into anything major. So with that, we reward them, normally give them a list of things that they can get, and they wear that as a badge of honor and say, hey, I'm a safety good catch champion. And our guys just walk and live by that.
Oh, brilliant. Great marketing. Great marketing, Aaron.
Thank you.
Can appreciate good marketing when I see it. That's fantastic. So, pivoting a little bit, being in, renewable energy, are there a lot of misconceptions or significant misconceptions that you tend to hear often about the field?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of the biggest misconception, and it's going to kind of sound funny, is if somebody owns a lot of land, they're like, hey, I want to put a turbine out of my property. And as much as I would love for it to work that easily, there's just a lot that goes into it. So I think the extent of an actual build and construction of a turbine is a big misconception that people have. And normally it takes years of groundwork before anything even happens out at a property. There's
Really?
they have to do soil samples, climate samples, make sure that it's going to produce enough wind to actually be profitable, and make sure there's not any endangered species, even if it's insects or plants. So there's a lot that goes into it up front, and then it has to be a power purchasing agreement. So it's normally between a manufacturer, an owner, and then also the local utility that's going to want that power to be, used for the grid. Of course, it could be used for a specific individual too, but normally it's very cost effective if you can also sell back some of the power as well. So yeah, normally, like I said, it's about a 2 to 3 year process at minimum before anything even kicks off and begins.
Wow, I'm totally guilty of that misconception. Not saying I'm in a position to throw a wind turbine down. However, I never considered, talking about, protected species, doing soil samples. Like I guess I haven't been in a position to think about putting in a wind turbine, but that makes so much sense. And
Right.
that's a really interesting misconception about the time and really all of the different factors that go into, making this decision. Wow, that's really fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, one of those things like we didn't even know originally when we got into it, into the industry, but it's one of those things you learn, and just by doing project after project, kind of what goes into it and what becomes of it. So it's just one of those cool little scientific nerdy things that it's like, oh wow, I didn't know that, that happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, right. I love to get nerdy. Well, that's awesome.
yeah.
Well, Aaron, it is April, and in April there is American Clean Power Week. So I imagine that you guys are doing some big initiatives, some different things, for awareness. Talk to me a little bit about what you have planned.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Well, as of right now, we actually just had a speaking engagement. Josh Rangel, our CEO and president, he was able to speak at his alma mater, University of Incarnate Word in San Antonio, Texas, talk to the students and local community about the growth of our company, also just about wind power and what goes into it. And it's pretty exciting too, because we were deemed the first wind energy company of San Antonio. We're also the first Hispanic-owned wind energy company in the U.S. So those are, some amazing feats in and of itself, and we're able to share that with our community. We're both born and raised in San Antonio. Now we're moved out here to Houston, but even being able to give back and show our local community and kids that are coming up and about to graduate, like, hey, you can come from nothing and you can still make something of yourself. Just you got to believe, you got to press, you got to work hard. And, sometimes dreams can happen. And I'm a testament of that in and of myself in my role. Josh, in being able to start the companies he has as well. So we did that. And then also we're currently going out to our Texas wind project, and we're going to do a live interview as well. So Josh is going to jump on LinkedIn, which is our biggest social platform, and also just answer some questions that have been submitted by our user audience.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's a great way to build brand awareness and, really encourage, renewable energy. So I think that's fantastic. Those are really great initiatives, and a podcast too. How cool.
Yes, absolutely. I appreciate it.
No, absolutely. So if people wanted to learn more about Rangel, where would they go to learn more?
So our website is www.rangelrenewables.com. We also, like I said, just kicked off our other Rangel company, which is King Heavy Lift. That's www.kingheavylift.com. As I mentioned too, our biggest platform that we operate on is LinkedIn. So we're on LinkedIn, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. So anywhere that you have a social platform, you can find us. Just look up Rangel Renewables and King Heavy Lift, and we'll be there.
That's fantastic. Well, Aaron, as we wrap up this conversation, is there anything that you want to leave our listeners with, either about Rangel Renewables, about, heavy lift, about renewable energy? Is it heavy lift? King lift?
King Heavy Lift.
Yes. King Heavy Lift. I was close. King Heavy Lift, or, anything in general? Anything you want to leave our listeners with?
Yeah, I just wanted to say too, and just a personal testimony of mine is, no matter where you're at in your life, normally valleys come before reaching a pinnacle in your life. And right before I even started at this company, I was at one of the lowest points in my life, kind of spinning my wheels, not knowing where I was going, what to do in a career. And I, started by just doing sales with Rangel Renewables, making $10 an hour, plus a little bit of commission. And I was hustling also because I just believed in Josh's dream and the dream of Rangel Renewables. And with that, we've been able to grow to become a big major key player here in the US. And I was able to grow into my role, which is now a dream job for me, to be a creative and marketing expert. So, even if things look hopeless, I just want to leave you with keep pressing on, keep on going, seek counsel, seek your friends and family that are close to you, get that encouragement, and think positive, and good things can happen.
Oh gosh, you're making me put in my feels. That's a great little thing to leave our listeners with, Aaron. I really appreciate, that heartfelt message. I really appreciate you breaking down everything about Rangel Renewables. Certainly it's exciting, the initiatives that you have planned for American Clean Power Week. I think that's fantastic. And I appreciate you being on Business Ninjas today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity. You have a great day. Thanks, Business Ninjas.
Of course, great to have you.